Hello, sorry about that. So the first webinar was about water issues, and we launched the competition. And if if you have read over the rules and were here for the last webinar, if you decided on any ideas for your project or if you need any help, you can ask me, myself, Ashley, or Nicole, who is also taking over the chat to answer any questions as well that you may have about um, what your ideas might be, or if you're unsure about the idea that you have, you can ask either me or Nicole. So if you've decided if you want an urban or rural water issue you want to investigate, you're probably wondering what's next. So things to think about are how much you know about your issue so far. Did you know anything about it before you chose your project idea, or do you think your friends or family know about this issue? So there might be someone, your friend or family, that might have a job in a particular area of your project, that idea that you will be working on. Just things to think about to ask the family, they might, or friends that they might know. So today's webinar topic is surveys, and the survey will help you learn about your community and what it knows about the issue that you have chosen. You will conduct your survey to see what people know, and then you'll have a follow-up survey after you educate your community to see how you've changed attitudes and behaviors. So you can have other surveys along the way if you want, but you must have at least 2 surveys to get the right data. There will be more on that to come. So there'll be the first survey educating your community on the things they know about your topic, and then later on down the road, then you can see what they have learned and how they have changed and everything like that. So a survey is a list of the same questions being asked to different people. It can help you learn what attitude your community has on the issue you are investigating. The more people ask, the more information you will get. So you can see what once you've chosen your topic, you can see how much information people know, and then if they don't know a whole lot, then you will be able to inform them about your issue. It's a good idea for your survey to ask questions that are easy to answer in few words, such as yes or no questions or short answers questions. It's a good idea to be specific. For example, do you leave water running when you brush your teeth? And it can be quantitative. That might not be important at this stage, but remember that in your report you'll need to state a measurable change in attitudes and behaviors. So how many liters of water per day will be saved? Every group will have different questions depending on their issue. However, all surveys must ask, where does your water come from? So if you're wondering who to ask, as said before, your friends and family. For this project, we will ask that you survey only people you know and with whom you are comfortable. A few students from your class might visit other classrooms in your school, for example. So you can ask your friends and family to ask their friends and family. This way you can get your survey out to a lot of people in your community. And however, only do this if you'll be able to have your friends and family survey their friends and family when it comes time to do the follow-up survey as well. So you want to make sure that when you ask your friends and family to ask theirs, that they will have time to do the follow-up survey afterwards. Otherwise, if they can't, then you won't be able to get the end results. So you will need to survey the same people. If you guys have any questions right now or anything about your water ideas, you can ask me or Nicole in the chat. And if you have answer any questions or concerns you might have, or if anything's not clear. So we will be moving on. So distributing your survey, how you will get your survey out to your friends and family. So you can send an email. This will easily allow your survey to be passed around to friends and family. You can have it on a Google form. If you have a Gmail account, it records the answers of everyone who does your survey. A paper copy, you can also print out some paper copies passed out, and this will give you a chance to talk to your audience and explain your questions if needed. So if anybody doesn't understand your survey questions, or the survey is also an easy way to survey other classrooms of students at your school, or to do a survey during a school assembly. So you'll be able, if you do that, you'll be able to get your questions out to a lot of people at one time. Or you can do them face to face. You can go up to your friends and family and ask them questions and write down their answers. So for data, what do you do with the answers you get from your survey? So you can tally all the people who have a certain attitude or action. It's important to think about this when choosing your questions. Can you get a few specific answers to show a difference in attitude? If you ask the same question after attempting, you get a higher percentage, then you know you've changed attitudes. So if you ask someone how much water they use while brushing their teeth, or if they leave the tap running while they're brushing their teeth, and inform them that it wastes quite a bit of water, then they might stop leaving their water running while they brush their teeth. So baseline data, this is the starting point for your education campaign and report. You'll need to be sure that your first survey gathers all the required information so you can report accurately on the change in attitude. You must survey the same people when you conduct your follow-up survey, so you don't forget that. More on baseline data, every project must ask the question, from where does your water come? So record the number and percentage of people who have the correct response. Educate your community about the location of their water source. Don't just name it. Encourage them to care. Talk about how much water is drawn from the source. Talk about what might pollute the source. Ask this question again at the end of your project to the same people and see how the number has changed. So the first survey showed that about 60% of people had the right answer, but at the end, 9% of people knew where their water comes from. So by educating them, you will see different results at the end of your follow-up survey. To get accurate data, you might have to ask questions without telling your audience what your project is. If you know that you are trying to get people to conserve water by turning off the tap when they brush their teeth, then they may not follow through. So, for example, have the school put an announcement out to ask students to time how long they take in the shower every day, but don't tell them why they need to know. Visit the other classrooms at your school and give them a paper survey to complete that asks them how much time they spend in the shower per day, whether they have a low flow shower head, and from where their water comes. Then calculate the average to get a representation of the school, and then you can use this data in your baseline data. So educate the people you have surveyed on the effects of using a lot of water and how they can use less water when they shower. Low flow shower heads being quicker, leave-in conditioner, etc. You can also inform them about about the source of the water. You can also ask them how they have taken action to use less water when they shower, and measure the amount of water saved and the number of people who have decided to make a change. So important data to keep track of for the report. So how many people ages 0 to 24 and how many people ages 25 and older are involved in the implementation of your project. So for example, students who wrote surveys, educated community members, distributed surveys. Record the number of webinars you attended or of which you watched the recordings. Record the number of students who attended the webinars and watched the recordings. Also, the number of volunteers, if there was any, who involved in the implementation of this project. So parents, people from local community companies who volunteer, general community members, and the number of volunteer hours which were invested into your project. You can also record the number of formal or informal partnerships which were developed through the collaboration as a direct result of this program / project. For example, did you get the employees at a local company involved or a local watershed group, and how they might have helped? So some other things to keep track of are the number of community educational events which were held. For example, the number of times students spoke at an assembly about water issues, the number of events at which they spoke, also the number of people you educated, and the number of people you surveyed. Another is the number of liters of water saved, or the number of liters of water saved and the number of water saving devices installed, or the square meters of an impermeable surface made permeable. So another thing to keep record of is the percentage of survey respondents who were correct when they responded to the first survey in regards from where the city's tap water comes from. The percentage of survey respondents who were correct when they responded to the last survey in regards to where the city's tap comes from. It's also a good idea to take pictures, shoot a video. You can submit up to 12 photos in one video that is 5 minutes in length or shorter. So now if you have any questions or if you're unsure of anything, you can ask myself or ask in the chat. Ask Nicole for anything that is made unclear or you're not sure of. So our next webinar will focus on community engagements. Recordings of the webinars and the PowerPoint presentations will be available on our website. In case there's a day you cannot attend the webinar or something comes up. If you have any other questions, please feel free to ask now. Here is all of our contact information. If you don't have any questions right now, but you have questions later, you can email us or phone us. We will be available to answer any of the questions. So please contact myself Ashley or Nicole, and we can do our best to answer any questions that you might have. Thank you all for joining today, and thank you to RBC for helping fund this project. And if you have any questions, we will leave this open for a few minutes.